Hi, and welcome to the very first episode of Around the Minors.
Hello.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm ready for this one.
You also sound so excited.
So, and for any of our new viewers, that, for this program that don't know us, I'm Danon.
And I'm Chris,
And I'm Rob. Well, Robert, depending on what you guys call me.
Retro Man as well.
Yep.
We also run, like the page says, Main Street Prowlers, which is for the Port Huron Prowlers of the FPHL. Make sure that you, if you have any questions, make sure you pop them in the comment box because we will always interact with you guys. We love our fans. We love the people that basically support hockey throughout this continent. So
Yes.
Plus, we are in.
And it's great to see all the leagues starting to come back this year.
Yep.
exactly, and that was a perfect time to put our hockey knowledge to
Oh, yeah.
the test. So.
Yep. We got a
And-
lot to talk about it.
And that's I'm gonna have something up here on this TV behind me in a second, guys. But we're gonna start off. This show essentially is gonna be about all four minor hockey leagues that are professional. I'm excited. We have a lot to start go over. Basically introducing ourselves to the new people. So I'm gonna start with you, Danon. What got you into the hockey? What essentially?
Well, I've always loved hockey and watching hockey. Most of the time I had to watch it at home, but then when I started going to some of the games at the McMorran Auditorium, I met a really good friend of mine, Rick and Vicky Vargo, and they got me more into it, working on the booster clubs, and got me volunteering for the Silver Stick tournaments here in Port Huron. And ever since, I've been doing something with our websites and, taking pictures and lots of pictures. I need to actually get an extra hard drive for my computer because I got too many pictures.
But and they're definitely a true fan, though, is what,
Yes.
what you're saying.
Yeah, but I also go by the blind ref during a lot of the games, so
And East
Right.
Upper Rowdy member.
East Upper Rowdy.
Mainly we all are.
But that's where we technically all met,
Yeah.
and so that's one good thing that we have. Well, we all have in common is that we have the passion for the game. So with you, Rob, how did you get into hockey?
I got into hockey with the Border Cats back in the early 90s. And everything.
And the good thing too is that you actually have a special connection to the Border Cats as well.
Yep.
Well, what is it?
Megan's dad.
Explain that story a little bit, is what we're trying to prod you for.
Oh, he used to have been the game day operation person for the Border Cats back in the day.
And he came up with what?
He came up with the blow up cat, the blimp, the video board that we used to have. Didn't last long, but that was all his idea.
So that's something great. That's you have the great connection too. So that's a plus. But anyways, I got into hockey when I was a young kid. I started skating myself when I was about a year and a half, and started playing when I was about 6 myself, and I've been into hockey ever since. I've been literally like nonstop hockey for literally the last 20 plus years. So, and that's how I got into these hooligans. I've been following the Port Huron sports hockey teams ever since they came to town again. As I remember when we had the original Border Cats, went to the beacons as well as the flags. God, I hated the flags.
I think Danon met me up in the East Upper, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you were doing ticket.
I was doing 50-50,
And I was watching
50-50
Justin.
and check-a-puck.
Yep, I was watching
Yeah.
Justin and all that. We're having a good time.
Yeah. Again, like I said, that's when I was working in the booster
Yeah.
clubs and all that, and helping them and support the teams and raise money for the players and for their road trips and
Yep, I remember that.
lot of fun stuff.
Fighting Falcons, wasn't it?
Falcons and
The Ice Hawks.
Ice Hawks. Yep. Because I started with the Ice Hawks doing the booster clubs. Yeah.
I got so much memorable stuff for hockey. It's not even funny. I got everything in my closet.
With that though, too, I am almost finished. I'm gonna get the thing up here in a second that I promised you guys.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're a little bit behind tonight because we had a lot of technical issues trying to get the equipment programmed.
Yep.
So
And that was my fault for not exactly thinking about it.
All right, Justin, let's do a dance in there in the meantime.
So,
yeah, and our producer is Justin. So
He says hi. He's looking over.
he's been in hockey, doing a lot of stuff for hockey, almost as long as I have been. But he started out sleeping on the glass while I worked the games.
You want us to turn the lights off when you have this up?
nope.
All right.
So we're gonna start tonight with what we all know, what we've known before. We got the FPHL to start off with. So, like we said last night, we saw some great fights last night. This
Oh
past
yes,
weekend.
yes.
And
He's a
that's
player.
what. I'm sorry. What?
He's a player.
Yeah. That's How you doing, Todd? It's nice to have you in here.
Yeah,
Growlers.
the Growlers.
Yeah, that's we'll get to the growlers when we have that in a little bit, which is an interesting situation within itself, the growlers.
Yes.
And that's I want to know what you guys think about that situation as well. But the FPHL, we have teams in Binghamton, as well as Watertown. We have Port Huron, Columbus, Georgia, Carolina, Raleigh,
North
Carolina.
Carolina.
And soon in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Yeah.
First Mississippi team.
And all the SPHL teams will remember Biloxi, Mississippi, because they had the Mississippi Surge down there, who they absolutely hated down there. And it's we should up here in Port Huron remember that too, because Larry Sterling played for
Oh,
Mississippi
yes,
down there.
Yeah.
And
That's
Yeah.
where he got his start, is down in Mississippi.
Yes, and he was a great player.
Mm-hmm.
Great player.
So, but
We loved him up here.
yeah,
Oh,
and so
he was great with the Flint Generals.
Yeah.
yeah. If going back in the days, Larry Sterling played for the Port Huron Ice Hawks of the UHL days. Sorry, guys, but that was when you actually had Flint versus Muskegon, Flint versus Port Huron. You had Fort Wayne versus everybody.
Yes.
That's Fort Wayne is sadly the only Kalamazoo and Fort Wayne are the only teams left in that league
Yeah.
who are in the ECHL right now. So that's a team that those two teams were the hardest hitting teams out there,
Yeah,
if you
they
guys
were.
remember.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So it's great to see them out there. But over this past weekend, though, if you guys don't know, if you're tuning in from other leagues, FPHL is if you technically want to get
I
technical.
always recommend or describe them as the movie Slapshot.
Yep.
Honestly, I do.
Yep.
Because I love the movie, and it made watching these guys play. It does.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of the movie.
Right, and it's technically rookie Class A,
Yeah.
if you want to get technical. But we do have players like Joe Pace that has played almost his entire career here in the FPHL, as well as Amin Mafous.
Yeah.
So they're career FPers. But this is, if you want to get technical, this is the lowest league of professional.
Yes.
But that's as well as they play for more of the passion as well.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
And it's oh my God, that's
Oh, that was Butts.
That was Butts. Yeah, that was
That was
Butts.
Butts.
That was Butts. He was mad at the East Upper Rowdies.
Yep. I remember that. I remember
God.
that. My
That's-
buddy said something to the goalie, and He didn't
And-
like it, so he took the puck up in our area.
And if you're tuning in from other areas, so the they
No,
were
that was
playing-
when he threw his stick up there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He threw a stick.
Oh, the
at
stick. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's when he threw the stick up there.
So Big Warren is quite interesting because the second deck is like literally right behind the player's bench, so you're almost right on top of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you can razz them and they'll hear you and they can almost touch
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So
Same, in East Upper Rowdy area too. You're right directly behind the goalie, and yeah, you can majorly razz that goalie and
Sometimes,
frustrate them, and it works. It does
Yeah.
work.
Throw
Right,
water
right.
at us, a stick, bunch of stuff.
right, and it's but
What?
Flipping us off.
Oh yeah, we had goalies flipping us off too. Yeah.
over this weekend though, we had a total of 6 games in the FPHL. Binghamton, their very first game this season. Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
Matthew, if you want to send us one, I'd be
Yeah.
more than happy. Trust us. But we're just getting started, though, Matthew. It's trust me, we want to get more inclusion.
Yeah,
here.
we do. It's just unfortunately, we live here in Port Huron, so
But no, I'm serious though. We do want to get more inclusion in here.
Yeah.
I've always wanted that. I've been telling that. I've been contacting almost every team to try to at least get their pucks in here.
yep.
So, but Binghamton though traveled for their very first game. But no, we get it though. We Binghamton traveled to Watertown, actually putting up a better show than most of us had thought.
Yeah.
That night they put up they unfortunately lost 6-3, but we saw a goalie fight.
Well, not a goalie fight.
Yeah, we're in a goalie fight.
It was goalie fight because it was the goalie fight one of the other players. So it
can-
wasn't goalie
Yeah,
against
that's true,
goalie,
that's
but it was a
true.
goalie fighting another player.
I can probably pull it up right here, and then some.
Yeah, up north. There you go. That was credited by Mike
Try it
Kidd.
one more time. That one was broken up. Now it'll come out to the near side. Jemiah tried to send it back. Stevens settles it down for a basket. A break right now for the. Now we got a fight going at the other end of the ice. Lane King is fighting with the goalkeeper, Harley White. Not sure how this thing started, but all the way at the other end, way behind the play. Lane King and Harley White go at it, and Lane King's going to end up on top of Harley White as they both exchange a bunch of punches.
Well, that's how that weekend went.
We got somebody from another team from SPHL.
So that's another interesting to Roanoke is they have their team down there, but if you remember, the Beacons originally went to Roanoke.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember the Vikers, Kyle, but the Vipers were originally from Port Huron as well. So
Vipers?
the Roanoke Vipers,
Okay, Roanoke Vipers?
Yep.
Okay.
who were the Beacons.
Yep. Well, I thought you made me think of something else.
Detroit
the
Vipers.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
old Detroit Vipers.
Yep.
You know.
But yeah, that's just an interesting tidbit if for that. And also, the Rail Yard Dogs have had Port Huron's most famous hockey player from the Prowlers, which was Matt Beer.
Yep.
He got suspended.
Sadly, but I think he'll be back. I honestly think he'll be back. But more on that a little bit later. The second game, though, in that series, on that Friday, though, was we've already touched on that last night. Port Huron versus Danbury's, 7-5, and that's
Yep.
we all have our thoughts. If you want to see our thoughts, go to Main Street Prowlers season 4, episode 5, and you'll see all that. So we're going to touch a little bit on the Delaware versus Carolina game. 8-3. What is your thoughts on that score coming?
It was a blowout.
That's
Carolina's always been a tough team, though.
right.
Yep.
You know, they're one of the stronger teams usually in the league.
Right. And it's
You know, if you can get past Carolina,
You're golden.
you're doing good. You're doing really good.
That's Scott Brand's baby.
but it's
Well, not two more anymore because he's not in Carolina no more. He's
Used to been.
yeah.
He's the River Dragons.
Yep, he's River Dragons now.
That's his
But-
second baby.
that's something though that I feel bad for Delaware on this one because they play. Not only do they play with passion, but they also play out of a small arena. So they're not. They unfortunately don't have the capacity that Carolina has, where Carolina's averaging 3,000 people a game,
Right.
and Delaware, you're lucky if you can get 500.
Right.
And it's to put up these kind of numbers when you don't have the disposable income like Carolina does. It's getting 3 goals against the top team as of right now. It's good for a team that's unfortunately not gonna. I don't want to say it, but probably get out of the basement this year.
Yeah, we actually see that a lot. Honestly, teams getting here just before warm-ups and having to hurry up and get dressed.
Yeah, it's,
You know, here especially during the winter, sometimes it's hard for the teams to, the storms can throw off,
yeah, it's a,
the travel.
and that's the unfortunate thing too is in the FPHL, it's the most common league to get their games pushed back later in the night.
Yeah.
And it only screws over the next game as well.
Yeah, because they're already tired and,
But it's like I said
And that's
though,
part of the reason why, I was complaining about our game against the Hat Tricks. The fans constantly throwing stuff on the ice every goal. That's why I was getting annoyed with it because the guys, you're hurting both teams. You really are. You're hurting both teams because you're delaying the game because they got to clean up every time you do it. And that's what I mean. It's you got all that
Exactly.
travel, all that. You're just making it hard on everybody.
exactly, and it's SPHL fans will feel it too because they are in the same situation as us. They might have a little bit more disposable income, but they literally have to drive everywhere too,
Yep.
just like the FPHL.
Yeah.
It's literally just like I want to get into a little bit. Macon literally probably had the worst situation of the whole year this year. They
Carolina. Disposable income.
well, let's be honest, Bob. They probably have the most disposable income out of the whole league right now. That's what I'm getting at. But no, Macon. I don't know if you heard about this situation, but Macon Mayhem out of the SPHL, they had their bus company literally cancel at the very last second when they're supposed to be leaving to go up to Quad City.
Oh God.
And so they called, the nearest bus company was 7 hours away for them to even make it. So they had to literally pour all their money and earnings into what's technically illegal in this in the league to fly, because you're not supposed to be flying in the SPHL or the FPHL. But for them to even think about it, they flew through St. Louis, and they didn't even all get on the same airplane either. They literally took 2 separate planes to go through St. Louis and drive up from there. So it's
And actually, no, we actually love Carolina. We love playing against Carolina. And we love the Carolina fans. They come to a lot of our games.
and it's
Kyle said Carolina to the SPHL would like to see it.
Honestly, with the size of their arena, they could probably handle it.
Oh yeah.
right, and
They probably
Especially
could.
the fan attendance and everything.
and they're in prime territory as well.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So
You guys got the fan base there.
exactly. And it's it'd be a great rivalry for Roanoke as well.
Yeah.
They're right
But we
there.
definitely don't want to lose Carolina either because we love playing against Carolina.
Oh
exactly. But
And
And-
we
yeah. Love their fans too.
like I said, their fans are great people.
either way, to finish this up, FPHL other 3 games on Saturday, 8-3. Carolina beat Delaware again. Danbury beat Port Huron 5-4 in overtime, and Binghamton pulled a win out of their butts, literally. And it's 5-2 on Saturday night. And to finish up the standings before we go to break, so sitting in first right now, Carolina with a 2-0 record. So for 6 points, you get 3 points for a win and the FHL. Sitting in second with one regulation win and one overtime win is Danbury with 5 points. Binghamton with a 1-1 record, 3 points. Fourth is Watertown is 1-1 as well, 3 points. Sitting in fifth is with one regulation loss and one overtime loss is Port Huron Prowlers with 1 point. Sitting in sixth, only because they haven't played a game yet this season, is Columbus, so they're 0-0. And Delaware has yet to seek out a win, so they're 0-2 this year so far. And with that, we'll be right back after these messages.
Well, not really. I got the beat. Oh, Elite Wrestling tomorrow, guys. If you're on wrestling. I can't believe you're getting by. That one was good.
Hey there, I'm Chris.
And I'm Kelly.
You might remember One Love Weekly used to be called One News Weekly. Well, that was season 1, and now we're coming into season 2. We've changed up the format, and we're bringing the news to you in a more personal issue. We're going to give you more real-life situations to react to these news stories, and how you can love thy neighbor more. And I'm excited to bring on my co-host and correspondent, Kelly.
That's me. Hey, wherever you're listening to, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever platform suits your fancy, just make sure that you give us a subscribe and a follow and a share and whatever else you want to do. Make sure that you tell your friends about us.
And I hope you enjoy for the future episodes.
Hey, this is James Woolman here from Great Lakes Gaming. Are you looking for an excuse to get out of the house? Well, if so, where's your excuse? Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering games all week long. We run leagues, and we're also open 7 days a week. Every Thursday, we are running disc golf leagues at Highland Woods Middle School from 5 to 7, all through the spring and summer. Recently, we have become part of the WPN network of Wizards of the Coast. We're going to be starting trivia on Tuesdays, and we run a Super Smash tournament the first Saturday of every month. So that should be plenty of reasons for you to get out of the house.
So we are, as you can see, we're moving on to the SPHL, guys, which is kind of an interesting story. We've all heard Danville and their FPHL hopes. They got squashed this past season, unfortunately. So let's just move on to the SPHL. Things should have gotten better, right?
Yeah.
But the one thing I want to ask your questions if you want as well. Share this stream, get it all out there, and it's I definitely want to get this out there because Danville now has the Vermilion County Bobcats.
Sorry.
Ooh.
We had to do that.
And you guys know that we'll have, if anybody is new to the stream, you'll know that we're definitely jokesters as well. But this is a sad situation, though.
Well, my whole point is how they moved. How they moved them over.
Yep.
It wasn't right.
Right, and it's
They mainly screw themselves with that.
We don't know yet. We'll see.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Gotta give them luck. Wish them luck.
exactly.
But so far, they're lucky and going too good.
And it's because they were supposed to have played already 6 games. But their opening weekend, their home opener was delayed. I don't think anything has been confirmed yet either when they're going to actually play again, play those games. But it was technically due to league reasons of ice issues. But they don't want you to know that they've had a lot of staff issues. And so you've seen their head coach, their original head coach, he left. And then after one game, their second head coach, even though they deemed him the first one, he left he just had it because it's something that he just couldn't handle anymore. So if you have one coach that only coaches one game, and you have another coach that doesn't even coach anything, what does that say about your organization after playing only one game? But the good thing is, though, I don't think they'll have that issue again, because Nick Nieder was just hired on as the coach of the Bobcats.
Yeah.
Didn't he just retired?
Yeah. And so he retired with Oregon Prowlers. But it's that thing, though, Nick Nieder will stick it out. He's loyal to whoever he's with at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you screw over that loyalty, what are you going to get?
Right.
Yep.
So that's, I just hope, I hate to say this, but I really hope they do succeed, even though everything's working against them right now.
Yeah.
Because their original broadcaster also left even before the season started as well.
Yeah.
So it's
And it comes down to, again, and a lot of this is because of love of hockey. We don't want to see anything fold.
Yeah.
We really don't.
it's as much as we hate Danville leaving the FPHL, we want them to succeed.
We do. And like I said, my boo is more because of how they moved from the SPHL to the SPHL. It just no nothing. It's just the city or whoever who made the decisions. We're done with FPHL and we're going this way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's as I get it, they should have gone up there, but it's just something that it was done when they were almost guaranteed, when the Dashers were almost guaranteed their season for this season.
Yeah.
So, but either way.
Okay.
So let's get into the scores this weekend. Starting off on Friday, the October 29th. We've had some exciting games this weekend. Fayetteville played Macon this weekend. 4-3. Macon hasn't won a game yet, but they put Fayetteville Marksmen up for their money. They took them to the shootout, eventually losing to the Marksmen 4-3. And then we have our all favorite Vermilion County Bobcats losing 4-0, unfortunately, to the Evansville Thunderbolts. And so that's another name, Evansville Thunderbolts. Technically, the Evansville hosted the former Muskegon Lumberjacks team when they were part of the CHL, who are now down in Jacksonville, Florida. So that's Evansville plays out of the Ford Center, and that's actually a really beautiful.
It's a really nice arena.
Yes, it is. And that's down in Indiana. That's sorry guys, but that's another arena that if you ever go to, that's a nice single A league, and that's what I was trying to think of. But then Pensacola had a hard task at hand because they were playing the undefeated Huntsville Havoc, but they ended up losing 4-1 to Huntsville. And with Roanoke traveling to Binghamton, they ended up losing in a shootout as well to Binghamton Bulls, 7-6. So it's definitely been an interesting weekend for all games.
Now back on that one subject too. You also have the issue that it's hard for a team to play if coaches keep changing because every coach has their own style of play, like we know, and you're trying to learn, and you can't get your guys together completely either if things keep changing.
Exactly. I completely agree as well. But like I said, though, I think Nick will be there for the long haul.
Which we hope, we
Yeah.
hope everything works out because, like I said, you can't go from one style during a season to another. You got to have that stability. You can't just
And it's, wish I'm lucky either way.
right.
But going into Saturday's games for the SPHL, we do have Macon playing Fayetteville again, eventually losing 2-1 that game. Vermilion County Bobcats ended up playing Quad City Storm that ended up having a little bit of favorable score, losing 5-2. But this is where it gets interesting. They gave up 60 shots that game.
Yeah.
So there is promise there. There's 60 shots, and they only let in 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts just hearing that stat?
My thought on that is, I always say, to me, honestly, 60 shots is a lot, grant you, but it's not the shots that count, it's the goals that go in.
Heck, we've seen almost 80 one time.
Yeah. And still won. And the 80 was against us.
Yep.
You knew that was against Santa.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Shots, you can get a lot of shots in goal, but if they're not going in, it's you got to get, shots don't mean nothing, it's the ones that go in.
Yep.
That's
Yeah, shots do get.
But it does
counted.
suck, because that means your defense ain't doing their job.
But I mean, it does give you, at least to give you the promise that you have a good goalie.
Yeah, you got a really good goalie, and it shouldn't be only on the goalie because
You're right.
eventually, like I said, you're gonna get that one that's gonna go in. But it just shots are shots.
Exactly. And it's,
Because like we said again, we've had goalies stand on their head practically, in games. Sterling. Again, back at Sterling, he took a lot of shots when our players weren't playing right, and kept the puck out.
Yep.
Adam Russo.
Russo.
And
Russo.
he practically did stand on his head during warm-up.
Well, he did stand on his head during warm-ups. He did a back stand
He was
not
a good
all the
goalie,
time.
too.
Yeah.
Before the game, you do a back stand.
but that's not something to joke about, but it's an amazing feat either way.
Yeah.
But other games on that Saturday, Roanoke ended up losing to Knoxville Ice Bears 3-2 in overtime. I think that'll be a common trend for the SPHL is overtime or shootout.
Yeah.
Pensacola ended up beating being Birmingham 4-1, and then Peoria Rivermen ended up losing to Evansville Thunderbolts 3-1. And then to finish out the weekend on Halloween night, Huntsville beat Knoxville Ice Bears 2-0, and then Vermilion County Bobcats losing to Quad City Storm 4-1, and again giving up 56 shots. So another
Right.
loss, but a good performance by the goalie.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something there's improvement there. There's
Yeah.
something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And with that too, let's get into the standings here. So Huntsville Havoc, they're the ones to beat this year, at least starting off. They're starting off 5-0 this year, 10 points. As they're 21 goals for with 11 against, so they're
Right.
outscoring, almost doubling their opponents right now. Evansville Thunderbolts are in second round right now, 5-1 with 10 points, 20 goals for and 15 against, and they're on a nice streak too, 3-0, 3-win game win streak right now. Quad City Mallards, Mallards. Wow, you talk about going back in history.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thunder, these storms.
Yeah, the Quad City Storm are in third right now, 4-1-1 with 9 points, and 23 for 14 against. In fourth, Fayetteville Marksmen. They're undefeated as well, 4-0, 8 points, 12-5. So they're almost triple their goals for against. In fifth, Knoxville Ice Bears, 3-1, 6 points. Their goals are about even. They're on a one-game a losing streak though, unfortunately. Pensacola Ice Flyers in sixth, 2-2-1, 5 points. 14 goals, 15 against. Seventh is the Birmingham Bulls. They're which is kind of interesting stat right here. They have 1 win, 2 losses, and 3 overtime losses. So that's an interesting stat right there. They've gone to overtime in half their games right here.
Yeah, I see that.
And it's
The Havocs are an actually pretty good team in the Southern Professional Hockey League.
exactly. And so another interesting fact though too is that they scored 19. So it's not that they're not doing well, but unfortunately they've let up 27 goals themselves. Peoria, they've only played 3 games, so that's why they're sitting in 8th right now at 2-1.
Oh, they got 11 teams. Okay.
In 9th, Roanoke Aurelia Dogs, 0-2-1-1 for 2 points. And then Macon Mayhem is in 10th with 0-4-0-1. And the Vermilion County Bobcats, even though they're 0-4, they have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
But that's about it for the Southern Professional. So let's go over to the ECHL, which will be a new area for us guys.
Yeah, definitely.
But hey, at least I can bring up video up here for us.
Yeah. I think we do need to talk
Heck, the Southern Professional
Justin.
standings are insane. Wow.
So
to
Bringing-
both of them.
Away.
So I'm bringing up the schedule here, guys. The scores. I'm sorry.
I'm blind. Sorry, I'm tired.
Are you sorry though?
No. There we go. Oh,
There.
okay, there we go. You're good.
So there is one thing that I want to bring up before we get into this. The sad situation of the Growlers. the Newfoundland Growlers, like we that one fan said, go Growlers. The unfortunate thing is that they won't have their own team for their first 6 home games. They won't have their own fans in the building because unfortunately they were evicted literally days before their home game. And that's
Isn't the Oilers, aren't they the old Fighting Falcons?
no.
Oh, I thought they were.
No, that
No.
closed down. Falcons.
The Falcons actually folded after, because they couldn't find a home after she moved them to Pennsylvania.
Yep.
They couldn't find a home
Oh,
because the league
okay.
took them over because she wasn't doing what she's supposed to. So the league took it over and couldn't find a buyer.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about UCHO.
But the Growlers, though, they unfortunately had to move to Toronto to pair in with the Toronto Marlies of the AHL.
Right.
Thank God, though, that Toronto Marlies did open up and were able to save the Growler season at least
Yeah.
in part.
Good.
But that's part of the.
But we're seeing that a lot lately because even in
Yeah.
our league, pretty much I'm gonna say Elmira's been evicted out of their arena.
Yeah, it's sad because it's I didn't think that the Growlers would just winning the Kelly Cup back in 2019
Right.
wouldn't have gotten evicted like this. But rumor has it, again I say rumor, as poor management and poor work ethics.
Right.
Sad.
Yeah, that's something that needs to be more investigated, like we say. But hopefully something can be worked out and something that can be pushed so they can get back in to the
Yeah.
their arena faster. But let's get into this quickly though, because they have played games all throughout the week, the ECHL.
Oh yeah.
So off on Tuesday, October 26th, Newfoundland Growlers beat Trios Rivers Lions 4-1. On the 27th, Worcester Railers ended up losing to the Adirondack Thunder 6-2. That Norfolk Admirals lost to the Florida Everblades 5-4. The Wheeling Nailers in overtime beat the Iowa Heartlanders, who I heard are going to be the biggest rivalry in the ECHL right now.
I love this name, Swamp Rabbits.
But anyways, the October 27th again, Tulsa Oilers ended up beating the Kansas City Mavericks 5-2. Close games on Friday, with Cincinnati Cyclones beating Kalamazoo Wings 1-0. Jacksonville Iceman beating the Greenville Swamp Rabbits 2-1. The Trios Rivieras Lions beating the Maine Mariners 2-1. Norfolk Admirals beating the Florida Everblades again 2-1.
Oh, that's for the Orlando Solar Bears, I know.
And then it's Orlando Solar Bears beating the Atlanta Gladiators 5-4. And Toledo Walleye beating Iowa Heartlanders 10-1.
Holy cow.
Had 10 to freaking 1. I knew Toledo was good, but when they get that high of a score, that's something to really talk about.
Yeah.
I know they were having issue in the first 2 preseason games and that.
And it's Wheeling Nailers got shut out by Kansas City 3-0. Utah Grizzlies beat Wichita Thunder 3-0. Rapid City Rush beat Idaho Steelheads 5-4. On Saturday, Reading Royals beat the Adirondack Thunder 4-3 in overtime. Norfolk beat Florida 4-3 in the shootout. This is just going to be an interesting year. Just everyone's going to go in a shootout, no matter what.
Fort Wayne Comets.
Fort Wayne lost to Kalamazoo 4-3. Who Fort Wayne is the current holder of the Kelly Cup.
And they're the only team in any professional league has every cup their name is. They've been around for 70 years.
That's not true.
No?
They don't have an NHL cup.
Oh yeah, that's true. Mine
Talk
are-
about
mine
He's
are
a
really-
professional. He's a
Yeah.
He's a professional. So.
Anyways, South Carolina Stingrays lost at the Greenfield Swamp Rabbits, and I know Justin. I need to get hurrying on this. I'm gonna at least finish Saturday's games here. Indy Fuel beat Cincinnati Cyclones 6-0. Toledo beat Iowa Heartlanders 5-2, so that's a little bit of a better score. Utah beat Allen Americans 4-3 in overtime. 6-5 win for Wheeling Nailers over Wichita Thunder. And then for the final game on Saturday, Rapid City Rush lost to Idaho Steelheads 2-1 in overtime. And with that, we'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
We're going to be able to get through the other parts in one segment.
God, I hope so.
Oh, I love that name, Steelheads.
We're going to have to start recording.
Yeah.
Did you start one of the team's Lions?
Yeah.
Wow. At least some of these Lions are winning.
I can't believe I let myself.
And at least what? They are a brand new team.
How many teams do they have in the ECHL?
27.
Holy
I mean,
cow.
in the Asia.
31, and then 32 next year.
Seattle's
Oh.
got to usually has teams.
Palm Beach, I think that's gonna be for Seattle.
Bakersfield, Georgia.
He's in Seattle. Even have a couple people there. A lot of them that they got in the expansion draft.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't go there.
I know they didn't. They didn't want to go. They unfortunately expansion draft. If you're a
Gotta
pick,
go.
Hey there, I'm Chris.
And I'm Kelly.
You might remember One Love Weekly used to be called One News Weekly. Well, that was season 1, and now we're coming into season 2. We've changed up the format, and we're bringing the news to you in a more personal issue. We're gonna give you more real-life situations to react to these news stories, and how you can love thy neighbor more. And I'm excited to bring on my co-host and correspondent, Kelly.
That's me. Hey, wherever you're listening to, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever platform suits your fancy, just make sure that you give us a subscribe and a follow and a share and whatever else you want to do. Make sure that you tell your friends about us.
And I hope you enjoy for the future episodes.
Hey, this is James Woolman here from Great Lakes Gaming. Are you looking for an excuse to get out of the house? Well, if so, we're your excuse. We have Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering games all week long. We run leagues, and we're also open 7 days a week. Every Thursday, we are running disc golf leagues at Hollywood Middle School from 5 to 7, all through the spring and summer. Recently, we have become part of the WPN network of Wizards of the Coast. We're going to be starting trivia on Tuesdays, and we run a Super Smash tournament the first Saturday of every month. So that should be plenty of reasons for you to get out of the house.
And we're back, and sorry about that. I kind of left the mic on, so I'm sorry. But hey, we we were only talking about Seattle, right?
yeah.
Anyways, to finish up the 3 games that we didn't cover is Sunday on Halloween, Jacksonville Icemen lost to the Atlanta Solar Bears 5-4 in the overtime. Reading Royals lost to Maine Mariners 4-1. And the Utah Grizzlies beat the Allen Americans 5-4 in the overtime. And with that, we have some interesting videos for Save of the Week right now.
Save of the week. That was a nice save.
Yeah, that one was sweet.
Clear.
And with that,
I say number 3 play of the week was just mostly bad puck handling.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Very
Yeah.
bad puck handling.
very bad. But
He never got control of the puck and gave it up.
but
Catchy music too.
of course he gets distracted by the music.
That's the distractor, though.
Right, right.
Dancing, I was like this.
So with that though, can we get him distracted by this one?
All right, let's see.
Hey, Joe.
Oh,
It did its
oh.
job. It did its job.
Oh, I thought you were putting a video up.
But anyways, we are finally on to the American Hockey League, which will be our final league of the night. So with this one, I think this is the most calm league right now, where there's essentially, at least from my side, I haven't seen any issues. I don't know about you guys.
No, other than the female referee.
Exactly, which is really good. It's they do actually have the video up right here. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Oh, we do have a video. Look at that.
Thank you for reminding me. Which is good for them, though. That's it's
The linesmen are Nicholas Clavin and Maxim Bernard. So they
which was out in Laval Rock.
actually
So that's very first.
Female.
It's good for them though because it's the very first full crew too of females, which is definitely breaking the barrier for them, and especially when it's really needed. It's and sorry guys, and also we do have for the Red Wings as one of the announcers, we have I can't remember her name right now, but it's the very first.
I can look it up.
That's the very first goaltender to ever play in an NHL game as a goaltender, which is he's bringing the name up right now.
Oh, not wearing a mask.
And she's very, very knowledgeable.
Yeah, that's what I
I
actually
think
love
she's
about
better
her.
than some of the other
Brunel.
announcers.
Right here.
Manon Riemann.
Oh, I slaughtered it.
And no, she's a French Canadian, so that's
Yeah, because we looked
that's
it up
what I-
Saturday.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
And I absolutely love the fact though that, like you said, she's very knowledgeable and she knows the game, and she's called a lot of the guys out for
Yeah.
not knowing their stuff. So it's
She's a tough little lady.
exactly. So that's a good thing. So it's but the AHL is on its up and up right now, being right under the NHL, sorry, and that's I think the woman will have a great impact on the guys to make themselves better.
Oh, yeah.
So it gives them also the players too more of an incentive to actually try out from higher leagues, some more professional stuff
I
as
like
well.
her movie section. Slapshot movies.
But anyways,
Who doesn't like the movie Slapshot?
Yeah.
Bob.
I'm just saying hockey fan wise. Who don't?
Right. That's.
I'll stop talking.
Do you not like Slapshot?
What? Yeah, I do.
Okay, he just said that. Kind of makes me wonder that he said it like that, right?
No, I meant stop talking about further stuff.
Anyways, let's get into the AHL. Let's get into these scores. Rochester Americans traveled to Bellevue to play the Senators. Ended up losing 7-3 on Wednesday night. That's and this is an interesting these scores are really interesting this week.
Holy cow.
7-3 this yeah. Bellevue Senators beat Rochester Americans. So what are your thoughts on that, Rob?
Seeing the shots and goals, 33 out of only 3 goals. 30 of the 7. That's impressive.
And then it's Chicago ended up making the trip out to the Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids. Beating the Chicago Wolves ended up beating the Grand Rapids Griffins 3-0. And Syracuse Crunch,
Rochester Americans do have a nice arena.
yeah. Syracuse Crunch traveled to Giant Arena in Hershey, Pennsylvania to play the Bears. Ended up pulling an overtime win, 3-2 over the Bears. The Lee Valley Phantoms, which is they travel out to Wilkes-Barre, which is essentially another Philadelphia versus Pittsburgh game, because it's the Lee Valley Phantoms being from the Philadelphia Flyers and Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. For the Pittsburgh team, that's going to be a high-intensity game. The Penguins do pull off the win out of their on their home turf, though. Toronto Marlies traveled to Laval on Wednesday to lose to the Laval Rockets 5-0. Colorado Eagles ended up going to Bakersfield, California to take on the Condors and losing 5-4. Thursday night, there was only one game on Thursday, so this is interesting because Rockford Ice Hogs, that's another name that we recognize from the UHL days.
Yeah.
They ended up traveling to Cedar Park, Texas, to lose to the Texas Stars 4-1. And it's another one game that should have been an interesting game as well, because Rockford and Texas both hate each other as well, from what I hear. So I wish I would have seen that get one game. And then the October 29th, Bakersfield Condors ended up traveling to Las Vegas to play the Henderson Silver Knights, eventually beating the Knights 3-2 with 42 shots against the Silver Knights. So they prevailed with a higher than normal for the AHL. Bellevue hosted the Toronto Marlies, ended up losing 5-2. And then the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, and I'm going out to Hartford to play the Wolfpack, losing in the shootout 3-2.
What a traditional logo. Stealing the Pittsburgh Penguins logo.
Well, you heard me earlier, though. They're part of the Penguins
Oh,
organization.
that's
so
their farm team. Okay, never mind.
yeah,
I'll
so
shut up.
it's, Rochester Americans, though, went back out to Laval, Quebec. Ended up beating Laval Rocket 4-3. And then the Cleveland Monsters, making their first appearance of the weekend, ended up losing to the Syracuse Crunch in Syracuse 3-2 in the shootout.
Yeah.
And then Lee Valley Phantoms traveled to Utica to play the Comets, which is kind of weird because Utica Comets are a brand new team this year, even though technically they've played under the Utica Comets before. Because it's and now I think they're technically under New Jersey or Vancouver. But Utica Comets now won this game against the Phantoms 5-2.
What's their record?
4-0.
It's not bad for a first year
Right.
franchise team.
And it's Charlotte Checkers went out to Providence and lost to the Bruins 4-3. Chicago Wolves traveled to Milwaukee to beat the Milwaukee Admirals 4-2. Ontario Reign traveled to Abbotsford to take on the Canucks, beating them 5-2. Colorado traveled to San Jose and to play in front of Mike Gremmett. And they ended up beating the San Jose Barracuda 5-4. And that's kind of interesting because the San Jose Barracuda actually play in the same arena as the San Jose Shark.
Yep.
And that's interesting because you don't normally have an NHL team sharing the same arena as their AHL counterpart. So that's really interesting. To me, I think that's perfect, especially for a growing hockey community out there as well. I can see LA and Anaheim possibly getting a minor team as well, in not the near future, but sometime down the road, because that's that whole market out there is like the triad of the hockey growers. But moving on here, the San Diego Gulls traveled to Tucson, Arizona, taking on the Roadrunners, beating them 5-1. On October 30th, Saturday, the Rochester Americans traveled to Laval and they eventually beat the Rockets 6-3 in overtime. 6-5 in overtime. Sorry, guys. The Iowa Wild traveled to Winnipeg to take on the Manitoba Moose, losing to the Moose 5-3. The Bellevue Senators traveled to Toronto to take on the Marlies for a hotly contested Battle of Ontario.
Laura's on.
Hi, Laura. That's a 5-2 Toronto win at the Coca-Cola Coliseum. And Providence Bruins traveled to Bridgeport, Connecticut to take on the Islanders, which is kind of interesting because the Bridgeport Islanders used to be the Sound Tigers, and everybody hates it because it's at least their logo is, at least to me, it looks kind of stupid.
What does it look like? Oh, it's just a big B.
Yeah. And it's kind of weird because it used to be in New York Rangers territory.
Yeah,
out there.
I know.
So it's quite interesting to go to switch. Essentially, it's Because it's a huge Rangers fan base right there. So why would you cater to a fan base that's not yours? You might own that team, but wouldn't you want to try to bring in a fan base that's somewhat different from yours? But hey, that's my thing. That's my comment.
Well, I have a comment about our Griffins, the Detroit Griffins. I think the coach from the Red Wings needs to go back to the Griffins.
Well, you're not wrong on that one, but
Yeah, that's true.
we're just a fan show, though, right?
But I just think he did better down at that level.
Yeah,
I think
that's-
he did great with them. They playoff contended most of the time he was down there.
Yep. But that's the difference between the AHL and the NHL. The AHL, you switch up a lot. You lose a lot of your players to the NHL, from
Right.
week in and week out. So that's another thing, though. That's he got used to that, and I don't think he's settled into that role
So
of having the
just have-
consistency. And what?
Just used to having the same players every single
Exactly.
night.
Yeah.
And so he needs to get into that consistency of having the players day in and day out.
Yep.
Talk about the Griffins, though. Milwaukee Admirals traveled to Grand Rapids to play the Griffins on Saturday night. And the Griffins pulled the win out of their butts of 4-1 against the Admirals. Charlotte Checkers traveled to Hartford to play the Wolfpack. And the Charlotte Checkers won 3-2. Bakersfield Condors played Henderson Silver Knights and ended up losing 4-2. Cleveland Monsters traveled to Hershey, winning in the shootout 2-1 against the Bears. Another overtime game, Syracuse Crunch beat the Lee Valley Phantoms in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And again, another overtime game. Overtime after overtime after overtime. The Wilkes-Barre Penguins beat the Springfield Thunderbirds in overtime in Springfield, Massachusetts, 4-3. Rockford Ice Hogs were in Texas again, beating Texas this time 4-3. Colorado Eagles were in Stockton, California on Saturday, losing to them 6-3. Ontario Reign were again in Botsford, but beating them in overtime 3-2. And the Tuscan Roadrunners played host to the San Diego Gulls, winning 6-4.
Okay, and I want to give a shout out and a challenge for the Hershey Bears again. Come on, guys, get another record of teddy bear toss.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
oh, God,
that was
that-
amazing.
Yes, please.
I love watching you guys teddy bear toss on the replay. Watching how many bears go out onto that ice. I know it probably takes a while to get your game back going, but it is sweet. It is sweet because it goes to a good cause.
Exactly. Yeah,
As soon as you said Hershey Bears, it was like I had to, come on,
and
guys.
they have the arena size for it. So
Right,
that's-
they do.
So Sunday though, on the 31st, the San Jose and the Stockton Heat game got postponed. Unfortunately, if someone knows why it got postponed, please, I want to know why it got postponed.
What game?
The San Jose Barracuda versus Stockton Heat. So he's gonna pull it up right now. It seems like Charlotte Checkers beat a loss to the Springfield Thunderbirds. The Hartford Wolfpack traveled to Bridgeport, Connecticut, and beat them 5-1. Beat the Islanders 5-1. The Iowa Wild traveled to Winnipeg on Sunday to beat the Manitoba Moose 4-1. Chicago Wolves traveled to Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids and beat the Griffins 6-3. And then the Cleveland Monsters played the Hershey Bears in Hershey, Pennsylvania, with the Hershey Bears beating the Monsters in overtime 4-3.
Found out why.
Why was it postponed?
Barracuda's game was suspended after second period due to COVID protocol violation.
Oh, snap. So that's a good reason to shut everything down. So the biggest standings to date, even though this is the first episode, In the Atlantic Division, in first, Springfield Thunderbirds in first, 5-0-2. Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins in second, 5-1-1. Hershey Bears in third with a 4-1-1-1 record. Hartford Wolfpack in fourth with a record of 5-2-1-0. Charlotte Checkers with a record of 3-3-1-0. Bridgeport Islanders in sixth with a record of 3-3-0-2. In seventh, Providence Bears 2-3-1-1. And in eighth in the Atlantic is the Lee Valley Phantoms with the 0-5-2. Hopefully next week we can report on them actually winning a game, because they're the only team that has not won a game in the AHL yet. So let's hope that they can win a game.
Chicago Rangers are undefeated.
In the North Division, Utica Comets are in first with a 4-0 record. Cleveland Monsters in second with a 4-1-1-2 record. Rochester Americans in third with a 4-2 record. From fourth, Syracuse Crunch with a record of 4-2-1. Toronto Marlies in fifth with a record of 4-3. Laval Rocket in fourth with a record of 4-3-1. And in fifth and seventh is the Bellevue Senators with a record of 2-5-0. And the only reason why Laval, even though they technically have more points than Toronto, they're under them, is because their win percentage is lowered because they lost that extra game. In the Central, though, Chicago is leading the division with a record of 5-1. Iowa Wild in second with a record of 4-2. Manitoba Moose in third with a record of 4-3. Texas Stars in fourth with a record of 3-3. Grand Rapids Griffins in fifth with a record of 2-4 and 0-1. And sixth is Rockford with a record of 2-4. And seventh is Milwaukee Admirals with a record of 1-4. Pacific Division, Ontario Reign in first with a record of 6-0-1. And second is Stockton Heat with a record of 4-0-1. And third is the San Jose Barracuda with a record of 2-1-1. And fourth, Henderson Silver Knights with a record of 3-2-1. Bakersfield Condors in fifth with a record of 4-3. And sixth is the Batford Canucks, 3-2-2. And seventh is Tuscan Roadrunners with a record of 3-3. And eighth is Colorado Eagles with a record of 1-5-1. And bringing up the rear is the San Diego Gulls with a record of 1-4. So that was a mouthful.
Yeah,
That was a real mouthful.
that's what she said.
Wow. Just going straight out there, aren't you? We got the distractor over here, guys. But anyways, that brings us to the end of our pilot episode of Around the Minors. And I'm sorry for keeping you guys so late.
And next week we will be a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Like I said, tonight we had a lot of technical issues trying to get files transferred over to the other computers and equipment. So,
Right.
You know,
So it's
'cause
hopefully...
we picked a new location again, and you know, this is going to be our home for both shows. It sounds like.
Right. And so we won't have a lot of messing around to do.
Yeah. So now the equipment will be set in place, other than the laptops, and just have to replug everything in.
Yep.
Right. And so final thoughts for this week. Who do you think is going to be the winners of this next week, and who's going to be the losers?
Justin's the winner.
Oh, that's too many games to go over, man.
Right. That's I'm just saying who's gonna be like the biggest winners. Like just pick a team, and who do you think is gonna?
That's a little bit hard. I think for our league, you know, we want our team to win. We definitely want our team to win.
Yeah. us.
Especially this weekend because we got Scott Brand coming in town.
Yeah, Scott Brand. That's
You know, so the River Dragons. We definitely want to
right.
show them it's our house. So.
We get to play with Scott. Well, that sounds.
Want to say that again?
We
But anyways,
really need to get him to come into town one day too to maybe come here to have him on our show again. You know, because we've had a show with him and get his opinions again.
Exactly.
You know, he's a really nice guy. Most of the coaches and owners that we've talked to from the other teams even are great people.
Or we can
Exactly.
have him on here,
So yeah, we can always have him to do another broadcast through the
like we did
Internet,
last year.
Yep.
Yep.
So, but good night,
I gotta-
everybody.
I gotta
I
get
gotta go
to
home and
bed.
cook a dinner.
I gotta wake up 1:30.
Until next week, guys, we have Main Street Prowlers on Monday, and then we have that starts at 6, and then Around the Miners. That show starts at 6 on Tuesday, and that'll be our schedule from here on out. Until next week, see you guys later.
See you guys.
Enjoy.
Have a good night. See you next week.
Well, not really. I got the beat. Oh, Elite Wrestling tomorrow, guys. If you're on wrestling. I can't believe I let myself get caught. That one was good.
Hey there, I'm Chris.
And I'm Kelly.
You might remember One Love Weekly used to be called One News Weekly. Well, that was season 1, and now we're coming into season 2. We've changed up the format, and we're bringing the news to you in a more personal issue. We're gonna give you more real-life situations to react to these news stories, and how you can love thy neighbor more. And I'm excited to bring on my co-host and correspondent, Kelly.
That's me. Hey, wherever you're listening to, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever platform suits your fancy, just make sure that you give us a subscribe and a follow and a share and whatever else you want to do. Make sure that you tell your friends about us.
And I hope you enjoy for the future episodes.
Hey, this is James Woolman here from Great Lakes Gaming. Are you looking for an excuse to get out of the house? Well, if so, we're your excuse. We have Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering games all week long. We run leagues, and we're also open 7 days a week. Every Thursday, we are running disc golf leagues at Highland Woods Middle School from 5 to 7, all through the spring and summer. Recently, we have become part of the WPN network of Wizards of the Coast. We're going to be starting trivia on Tuesdays, and we run a Super Smash tournament the first Saturday of every month. So that should be plenty of reasons for you to get out of the house.